Phi Beta Sigma, I was more or less recruited or induced to join, to be in the folds of Phi Beta Sigma Mu chapter, and 2 or 3 of fellows who I kept contact with all during the time I was at Lincoln, who happened to go to medical school, and he was considered as my big brother. And to this day, 60 years, at least 60 years, my wife and I, we stay in contact with the family. And we thought that our slogan, whatever you would want to call it, culture for service and service for humanity, still holds up. And Lincoln was well respected. And if I had to do it all over again, it would be no hesitation on my part.
1, 2, ready, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know, but you better tell somebody that we are back. That's right, it's 2016. It's a new year, and the distinguished gentlemen who can get down on the get down, the brothers of the Kappa, Upsilon Sigma chapter of
Phi Beta Sigma
Sigma.
Phi Beta Sigma.
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 Phi Beta Sigma.
Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Culture for service, service for humanity.
On behalf of Headliners Barbershop and Beauty Salon and myself, I would like to congratulate the brothers from Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity on their Founders Day. Wishing you guys much success and many more years.
And it all began here. Howard University, considered the Black Harvard, was chartered by Congress on March 2nd, 1867. Named after Union soldier Oliver Otis Howard, a war hero who also became the university's first president, Howard University was the premier institution of higher learning for Negroes in the area of education and theology. By the turn of the 20th century, Howard University represented the place where African Americans sent their children with the hope that a college education would lift them into a society where racial equality was achievable. There were no social or professional networks for black college students. The university resisted social fraternities in its first 40 years, but finally relented in 1910, publicly announcing that it would allow fraternities on campus. In less than 3 years, 2 fraternities would appear on campus. There was one fraternity that garnered significant attention from both the student body population and the administration. It would be called Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity. Walking on the campus the fall of 1910 was a freshman, a little older than most just beginning college, but no less determined to make a difference. His name was Abram Langston Taylor. Taylor clearly understood going to college was a privilege for a selected few, and he took full advantage of the opportunity before him. Langston was born in 1890 in Somerville, Tennessee, a small town about 49 miles outside of Memphis. His family were farmers. At 6, his childhood hero was Frederick Douglass, a freedom fighter who saw agitation as the only viable hope to save black equality. The summer before entering Howard, Taylor ran into a young man at Bumpus Grocery Store in Memphis. He was a recent graduate of the university and gave Taylor an insight on campus life. He warned him of some of the social dilemmas. Surprisingly, it was not the highly segregated Washington, D.C. but from a campus culture that segregated itself according to skin tone. It was then that Taylor decided to start his own fraternity that focused on the service rather than pedigree.
They were much older students in the early days, and they knew that as easily as an organization could be started, it could end. And they were very smart, because once they had their original members, they went out and got the most influential men on campus that were in the administration to become members of the organization. They understood that we might not be able to survive on our own. And once they had those key administrators, they knew that they had a foothold at Howard University.
In pursuit of a diverse yet like-minded group of men to start his new venture, Taylor called upon the services of a former roommate, Leonard F. Morse.
I would say Leonard F. Morse was definitely the epitome of scholarship, graduating with multiple degrees from Howard University. I believe he, at the time of his death, had 6 degrees and was working on a 7th. He was very trained in the classics. He was very serious about his schoolwork. Of course, we know later on he became Reverend Leonard F. Morse, so he was a faith-based man in the AME church. And I think what he provided was that inspiration of scholarship.
Young Morse, pursuing a future in theology, was also versed in Greek philosophy and is credited with coming up with the Greek letters. He was the consummate student. Something Taylor also admired was his character and determination. Morse was raised in New Bedford, Massachusetts. He was the first Howard student to earn 2 degrees and 3 years of undergraduate work. It was through the many conversations with Langston at the 12th Street YMCA that convinced them of their shared belief on the direction of the fraternity. They agreed that the fraternity should not be just for social gatherings, but one that made an impact on society, and service would be the foundation on which the fraternity must be built.
Once he graduated Howard University, he moved down south through Alabama, and he moved through Florida. He chartered at least 9 chapters in Florida alone.
Morse's philosophy never wavered. He would go on to expand the fraternity in the 1920s and 30s, chartering at least a dozen chapters throughout the South.
He never stopped the scholarship aspect of his life. He became a teacher. He was the dean of Edward Waters College in Jacksonville, Florida. And I think he was an inspiration, scholarship being one of our, principles. That man epitomizes that, and he's something to look up to.
Also on campus was the extremely popular and respected Charles Ignatius Brown.
He entered the academy in 1907 and graduated in 1910. He then entered Howard University in 1910 and graduated June of 1914. The senior class in 1914 awarded him, I guess, the title Most to be Admired. Everyone looked up to him. And A. Langston Taylor was so smart to notice that, choosing him as basically the 3rd founder.
Taylor and Morse knew the value of having a person with Brown's qualities. Little is known about Brown's personal life. What is known is that Brown was able to recruit the fraternity's first 9 members.
It was Charles I. Brown that was charged with the mission to see where the talents were, to get those men, convince them to go on this journey.
3 Howard undergrads, Abram Langston Taylor, Leonard Francis Morse, and Charles Ignatius Brown, would go on to co-found Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, fashioned on the principles of culture and service. Culture for service and service for humanity was more than just a phrase used by the founders. It redefines the significance of the Black fraternity.
We have produced, since our founding, some of the most outstanding people in America. When you think of hunger, you think of Jose Williams, a Sigma man. When you think of the Freedom Rides, you think of Farmer, a Sigma man. When you think of a song that has endured, you think of a Sigma man, James Weldon Johnson. When you think of the poor white farmer in the South who was able to survive by crop rotation and many inventions, you think of George Washington Carver. You think of John Lewis, who almost gave his life on more than one occasion for civil rights. We have paid our dues internationally. We're the fraternity of kings. Ziegler, we've had Talbot, we've had Nkrumah. So when you look at Phi Beta Sigma, you look at the real giants in our fraternity.
Because on these grounds, in the spring of 1919, a lover strolled along the wrong walk, around the reservoir. And Arizona Cleaver made history. And Dr. Frederick, let me be perfectly clear that on that day, January the 16th, 1920, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority and Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated became the first and only
Sigma got soul. Oh, Phi Beta Sigma got soul. Oh, oh, Phi Beta Sigma got soul. P-H-I-B-E-T-A-S-I-G-M-A. Phi Beta Sigma got soul. P-H-I-B-E-T-A.